So, good morning, everyone. So, we're going to talk about weight management and diet, a path to better health. So, like, these are my qualifications, and you guys know that already. So, my goal for this talk is like just to, based on my experience and based on what I've read, I'm not certified dietitian, or don't take everything, like do not go against your primary doctor or dietitian's advice. I'm just giving in general, not specific to each patient. So please, make sure that you consult with your primary care. And my interest in weight loss has been very long, just because most of heart related issues stem from weight kind of affects everything. And and then I'm also rhythm specialist. Most of my patients are with AFib, and their weight has been a biggest challenge for all of them. And I've gone through a lot of, I've heard a lot of different weight loss programs. I don't like most of them, but with GLP-1s, I have interest in that, just because the studies have shown that they have, the patients who were on those medicine had good outcomes. Like, the overall, their mortality went down. They did well, patients with heart failure, high blood pressure. So that's why we do GLP-1, we do recommend GLP-1s for patients who are, high weight. But at the same time, that's not the only thing. My goal is to maintain the weight for lifelong. It's a struggle for all of us, not just like my patient. I also have to go through that because of the stressful work. And we kind of forget to watch what we're eating and all. We go with the easy things, like whatever is easy and comfortable or convenient. But then we get into that habit, and we all keep gaining weight. And like, even when I was a resident, I was like, they used to tell us, like, you would gain 10 pounds each year. So imagine, we go through in multiple trainings, we go 9-10 years of training. Imagine 10 years, every 10 pounds every year. So I made it a point that I used to gain, because I was like, not paying attention. I was young and I could eat whatever I want, but then I was gaining. Then I used to lose them. I used to make sure that I lost, and I used to go this dieting, and I used to lose very quickly. But as the years have passing, the way losing weight is becoming harder. It was not like before. I went through residency and all, and I lost weight. After pregnancy, it was hard to lose weight, because you're busy, you're again not paying attention at yourself, taking care of other things, you don't pay attention and you gain weight. Then it took me a few years to get rid of that weight, and then residency weight, fellowship weight. So it's not just your challenge, it's everybody goes through that. So that is, I feel like in US, all of us are overweight. Very few percentage of the patients who are not overweight. So it's a challenge for all of us. A lot of the times, the diet is like, people feel like, like body shaming, like people say you're obese and all. But to be honest, we all go through that. We all are suffering from overweight. And I think, instead of feeling negative about yourself, you should try to learn how to manage weight and how to look at food. And in most of the cultures, even I'm Indian, so in most of the cultures, food is like it's celebration. Like, you have festival, you cook good food, you people come to your house, you feed them good food, you have a party, like anything you celebrate, the food is involved. So just think about it, and you associate with food as happiness and the pleasure. And then when you gain weight, you don't want to have that negative association with food, and you feel like low and depressed, and then you go back and eat food to come out of low and negativeness. So it's a cycle. So what I feel is, I think when you go down and study deeply and try to understand what we can change, and what we can change without feeling that happiness, like losing the happiness. So because a lot of people say, oh, I'd rather die instead of going through all this diet. But I feel with all the changes I've done, I don't feel I miss things. So that is, I don't want you to feel that you're losing some happiness and the pleasure that you're not getting out of your diet because you're on a diet plan, because you're trying to lose weight. Because this, as soon as you feel that way, you will not be able to maintain it. As soon as you cannot maintain it, the weight will come back. The medication GLP-1 are great, but you can't be on it lifelong. First of all, it's expensive. It's just not the natural way. I mean, as much as I do that, it's part of our business, but still, as your advocate, I'm not telling you to keep taking it for rest of your life. So but then you have to learn different ways of losing weight, which is more natural. Okay, the more the natural, the longer you're going to, and you have to enjoy it. Not that, oh, you're forced to do it. When you feel that way, then you're not going to maintain it. So that's why people go on these different diet plan. They're great. They lost 60 pounds, 70 pounds, and they gain back after a year or so. I mean, it's hard. So what do you guys feel like? What is your issue? Like, what do you feel is obstructing you from keeping that uh, the diet, like, maintaining the diet or maintaining the weight loss?
I like to eat.
Yes, yeah, everyone likes to eat. Yes.
What has become a problem for me is I graduated from the Culinary Institute of America, so I chefed for many years, and I just can't make a plain meal. I have to. She's happy with a turkey sandwich, not me.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're taking it, or you're a chef and you always want to make luxury food. But at the same time, you have to understand you are a chef. You can make anything taste good. You have that ability, right?
True.
So you should be able to get the healthy ingredient and make it taste good.
And the other thing I have is physical hunger. It's not a hidden hunger when I'm missing vitamins. If I don't feel full.
Right. So, yeah, we'll talk about that today, how to change those things. Yes, those are the main thing. And when we are stressed, when we are sleep deprived, when we have bad things going on in life, or we have negative self image, okay, those are all, these are all the main issue with, when we eat or overeat, because eating is a comfort. I mean, believe me, even I enjoy eating. I want to eat bad food every day, but you have to replace it with something good and also something you like, and learn the habit of making those dishes without, then when you make it, then you feel good about it. You created it, you enjoy it, you're proud of that, and you eat that, and slowly that is a change. It takes long time to make those changes, but that's what we're going to talk today. What to replace with what, why some foods are harmful to you, how do you change them. And the important thing is, other important thing is, when you're not sure what if it is good or not, think about, go back to your basics. What did your grandparents do? Were they eating that kind of food? Think those things. As soon as you think, you will understand, okay, I can replace this. I can make a meal from scratch without using preservatives, without using canned food, without using anything that is processed. If you make things from scratch without any of these chemicals that I'll briefly talk about, then you're going to reduce these harmful things that can affect your gut, affect your guts. And if things affect your gut, how that affects you in general, in the health wise, how do you gain weight, that's what we're going to talk. So focus on just not controlling calorie. That's what we make mistake. We control calorie, we watch, we cut down, we try to exercise, but after 40 that doesn't work. That used to work for me. I mean, believe me, it used to work for me. Like, very quickly I used to lose and used to move on. It does not work, and I'll tell you why also. And that is the reason you cannot just focus on calorie cutting yourself, starving yourself, and expect good results. You will not. And that's only till 40. After 40 it doesn't work.
The other thing is boredom with the foods. Like,
Yes.
because of the long period of time that you are trying to maintain
Right.
proper diet, you get bored
of this, yeah, because you don't have a lot of things to select. That's another thing. That's why, like, if you focus on making some dishes and learn how to create them, then you can overcome that. So remember, I agree, like when you're at working, taking care of your kids, doing so many things, you don't have time, but now you have time. I mean, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Now you have time and you are a chef. It should be like,
Used to be.
it should be like, something fun. For me, when I cook, it's like for me, it's a chemistry lab. I love, love to do little different experiment. I wish I had more time, but still within my limited time, I try to do things. I don't eat anything processed. I don't eat anything from the can or a box or a package.
I'm pretty good about a lot of stuff. I just make from scratch, but I make rich things from scratch.
Okay.
Um, you know, last night we had a quarter chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I baked it in sauce
Mm-hmm.
and put it over pasta. Just
Yeah.
ate too much of it, I guess. But then we try to eat a lot of fresh vegetables. And we do use some cans, but
Mm-hmm.
not much at all, really. Um, my my problem is overeating.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten better. I was never a sweets person.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'd rather have steamed clams than a
Yes.
donut.
I mean, it is easy to overeat because everywhere you go, there's food.
Oh, yeah.
And everything is not good, and you get used to it, like donuts and cookies and pastries and things like that, or pasta bread. you know like a lot of people think pasta bread is okay because it's not sweet or it's not donut, but it's still not good. So if you understand all of those, then you will how to control, like how to feel like content with the food, how to feel like, not that, sometimes people satiety, like you don't feel like you're still full, how to make yourself feel full by eating good food, and that is good for your gut. Those are very, very important, because that when you start focusing, I'm a heart doctor, but still the gut is so important in weight loss, and gut health is what really dictates your weight loss. Everything, what you are, your health is, and your weight is all about what goes in your mouth. So just remember, whatever you put in your mouth, you have to think twice. Is this worth eating? Should I eat this? That is why, again, I'm not telling you to stop eating or starve, continuously cut calorie. I'm not telling you just eat protein. None of that. I'm telling you, pick the food, even it's carb or protein, that is healthy for your gut. And remember, there in your gut there are a lot of microorganisms that growing, and some of these food disrupt that. And when it disrupts that, your nutrient absorption is not good, your immune system drops. I mean, that's what I'm going to explain, some of those things. And that is why people are not, the weight is a big problem. That is one of the reasons. So if you have your gut health, then you can, you will be able to manage, like, losing weight will not be hard. Okay. So I gave my disclaimer. So just going over, like 42% of the US adults are classified as obese. Obese is not even overweight. Overweight is about 25 BMI is overweight. I am overweight to be honest. Like, my BMI normal should be 26. I'm 25 and I'm 26. But again, that is with a lot of efforts. I can easily go like 27, 28 is where my body likes to be, but I try to bring it down below 25 all the time. But that's the struggle, 26 to going below 25. But it is. Hi, come on in. Come on.
Went to the wrong place.
Oh, okay, no worries. Is there anybody else? Okay. Sit down here. So So 42% of the US adults are classified as obese. As I mentioned, obese is not just overweight. It's beyond 30 BMI. So you have to, all these are like, it's real, and that is 42% of the Americans. I mean, it's a very common problem. So I don't think you should feel alone in this. We are a lot of us are struggling with this, and we should take it as a challenge and learn and get better at it. And obesity increases the risk of diabetes, as you all know, hypertension, other heart diseases, and stroke, certain cancers, and sleep apnea. Obviously, when you are overweight, you are high risk for sleep apnea. And then all these things cause AFib. That's my main main arrhythmia. The highest like number of patients that I treat is AFib. That's the common arrhythmia that I treat. So, that's why, a lot of my patients have weight issue, like AFib. AFib, number one cause of AFib is high blood pressure. And weight is linked with all of this. High weight, if you're obese, you will have high blood pressure, and long standing high blood pressure causes AFib. And the other things that affect AFib is weight and sleep apnea. And again, they're directly again related to weight. That's what I tell my patients with AFib. Even though I tell you to focus on three things: blood pressure, weight, and sleep apnea, technically you're supposed to focus on one thing, that's the weight. If you focus on your weight, you bring down the weight by doing exercise, diet, everything, your blood pressure gets better and your sleep apnea will also get better. So, really it's weight. When you get to the bottom of it, is if you control your weight, a lot of things will resolve. And other things, also it's an independent risk factor for sudden cardiac death. What that means is sudden cardiac death that you have heard, like people just drop dead and they had a cardiac arrest. That's called sudden cardiac death. It's one of the independent it's a risk factor for sudden cardiac death. So that is the reason why it is important to focus on this. Okay, we were talking about it, right? Why it is hard to lose weight after 40 years. We were talking about just before you came. So, we were controlling our calorie, watching, eating more protein. We all lost weight before 40. Very easy. It was easy, every year. And I was telling them how I was losing weight every year. And once I got to 40, it was very hard. And that is the reason being BMR, like basal metabolic rate, naturally decreases with age, generally decreases. And the body burns fewer calories at rest than it did in 20s and 30s. Like remember, at rest also we are losing calories, but it is less than when we were at 20s and 30s. And the problem what happens is why this affects, like once we become 40, we don't reduce, we have to eat less after 40. Your body doesn't need as much calories as we did before. And because of the reason, because you're resting, you know and when you're resting, your basal metabolic rate is not as high as in your 20s and 30s. And also, the body burns lesser calories when you're at rest. So after 40, to be honest, we become less active compared to 20s and 30s people. So it's a double problem there, right? Our resting calorie burn goes down, and we are not active. And if you're eating the same amount of food, it is going to accumulate, right? And the second thing is loss of muscle mass. After age 30, every 10 years we lose 3 to 8% of muscle mass. If we do not keep up with that, and the muscle help to burn calories. And every year, if you're losing muscle mass, especially women are higher risk than men. That's why I tell my female patients, we all should be lifting weights and do some weights to keep the muscle mass. It's not just for men, it's for women. Women, it's more because women are high risk for osteoporosis. And building muscles is more important. When you do weights, your bone health stays good. So, and less muscle is fewer calories burned even during activity, right? So that's why you need muscles. And as we keep losing muscles, as after 40, every decade is go down like about 8%, 3 to 8%. That's a big amount every decade if you lose that much. So again, that's the reason. And hormonal shift in women, we have less estrogen during perimenopause and menopause. that causes increased fat storage, especially abdominal. It increases because we don't have that estrogen anymore, or it's reduced. We start the same thing in men, reduced less testosterone, the same, reduced muscle and increased fat, same reason. So sleep, and then sleep and stress. Aging, they say aging affects the sleep quality. And also after 40, we are in our peak time of our career, kids and running around, like, naturally we, the sleep is less and less and less. Especially with me, I hardly sleep, like 5 hours. If I get, that's great. So, that's the biggest problem for me, and the stress that comes with the work. So with that, you release stress hormones. This is increases the cortisol level, and that increases, more craving for food, more craving. The cortisol makes you eat more. And also, and also cortisol keeps the fat. You don't burn fat that easy. So sleeping, try to make sure you sleep well. It's very important in weight loss. And then, and long standing habits, like, a lot of us are like, their culture, like, I used to eat late. My habit was eating late, like 8 o'clock, after 9 o'clock and all, and then go to bed after that. It's the cultural thing. We eat snacks at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and then real dinner is late. So this is not good for health, but it's cultural. It's hard to change in a family because they're used to it. That's one of the reason. And harder to break anything that is like we're used to doing so long. But then at 40 you got to change, and it's hard. And the kids have a different habits, adults have different, it's kind of becomes harder in a family. And then weight loss is still possible after 40, and it just takes like a smarter approach and a more personalized approach. Like every patient is different. The plain low calorie and high protein diet doesn't work. Okay. And again, briefly, what are GLP-1 drugs and why do they help? Is GLP-1 is glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonist, which is like semaglutide and tirzepatides. They mimic GLP-1 that is naturally released in the gut. It's released after you finish eating, so that makes you feel like you're full. So, and it also increases the insulin secretion. Insulin secretion increase means that is reduced blood glucose, and reduces glucagon secretion. Glucagon is a hormone that raises blood sugar. It's the opposite of insulin. So the GLP-1s, they reduce the glucagon. So that's good, and slows the gastric emptying time. That's basically, we have this GLP-1, but we are, by giving extra GLP-1, it mimics your natural GLP that you have in the body, and this is what it does. And after it also affects the appetite. It reduces the appetite and promotes the feeling of feeling full. So that's what it does. So that's why these medicines help you lose weight. They make you feel full. Your gastric emptying, like whatever you eat, it sits in your stomach longer, so you don't feel like eating, or because your appetite goes down and you feel full. And that's why your overall consumption goes down and you lose weight. So that is the one. Again, as I said, we do give this medicine. The reason I'm doing this is because it has the positive effect on the heart health, and in patients with high blood pressure, heart failure and all that. So that's why I'm doing that in my office. But still, the goal is, this is only short term. I'm not telling you to take this forever. Okay. So the role of the diet is like 70 to 80% of the weight management. We all know that, right? Exercise is good. It increases your metabolic rate. It does help, but mainly it's a diet. And focus on nutrient dense foods, not just calories, right? Like eating donut is a lot of calories, but it's not nutrient, right? So like high fiber, vegetables and whole grains, lean proteins like fish, poultry and legumes, healthy fat, olive oil, nuts, avocados, and reduce processed foods and added sugar. Like added sugar, like anything like refined is bad, and anything added sugar. Again, I have a sweet tooth too. I like eating sweet, but what I'm doing is I don't eat like real white sugar. I eat, in India we have something called jaggery, which is unrefined sugar. It's brown and it comes in a bar, like in a like a little big pieces, or it also comes as a powder depending on how you want to take it. I use that. Again, that also I don't use much. What I use is dates. Dates, like I use dates in if I am baking something, or if anything, like if I want to add some sweet in the milk, I soak dates and use that in the milk. So I like sweet things, so I started substituting. I have not eaten white sugar in for such a long time, and I don't even feel that I'm missing it because my cravings are met. I'm happy with that. Jaggery and the sweetness and in anything I bake, I put like either dates, or I put also put apples and bananas, and that also gives the sweetness. So I replace all these white sugar. I don't use any white sugar. Okay, like, and next, key diet factors that influence weight loss is basically these are the things that I want you to avoid. Mainly processed food, because all these foods can interfere weight loss by affecting metabolism, your hormones, increases inflammation, and affects your gut health. So processed foods. What are processed food? You guys know, right? Like hot dog, bacon, all that. And refined food, as I said, like refined sugar, refined oil, refined flour, all that. You should try to avoid all of that. And pro-inflammatory diet, like gluten is inflammatory. Cut down eating gluten or not. I've removed gluten from my diet, and I'll tell you what all things I'm eating, so I don't feel that I'm missing bread and pasta. I have a replacement, so I don't feel like, okay, I'm missing a lot. I don't feel like craving for wheat or bread. Yeah, obviously if I look at it I feel like eating, but I do go and pick my other things that are there. And the other thing I always do is to protect myself getting into this go pick, because food is everywhere, unfortunately. So I carry my food with me. It's there. So I can't say I didn't have anything to eat, I picked this, I picked that. So I carry my food, I take my lunch, I have all the snacks, all the food. It is good for the whole day. I carry that even because I have other reason that, oh, I'm out all the time, so that's an excuse for me to go eat something. So I carry my food, I make it, I carry it. And water also, everything is there all the time with me, so there is no reason, the excuses are not there. So this is the other way you can avoid, prevent these getting trapped into all these temptations. And gut disrupting food, again the processed food and all that, gut disrupting food. And genetically modified organism, GMOs, we know they do affect our the gut. And I can explain more that in the later charts. Hormones in the animal products like milk, in the food industry is so bad. You have to really, it's very hard to protect ourselves, but try to protect as much as you can, like having milk or meat or chicken, eggs. All these animals are given like the hormones to increase the growth, and that can affect us, because it affects our hormones, because we're taking indirectly, we are getting the same hormones. They're synthetic hormones, but still it affects our hormone, and by that we are increasing the weight. That's how we are gaining weight. And also these can be carcinogen, like men are high risk for cancers like that are induced by excessive hormone, and also women, like breast cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer and all. So I mean, again, I'm not an expert for cancers, but I'm just letting you know, with just knowing. Processed food, these are the foods that have been modified from their natural state, often through methods like cooking, freezing, canning, adding preservatives or additives. Like high in, basically they're high in sugars, unhealthy fats, and sodium, low in nutrients and fiber, And that causes, because there is low in fiber, you were saying, right, low in fiber and low in nutrition, it's, you don't feel full. That's why you feel like you want to eat more. All this refined food has no fiber. You don't feel full. And that's the reason why poor satiety, that if you don't feel full, you want to eat more and more and more. You end up eating more, and it's bad food and high calorie, and also affects your gut. Promote insulin resistance and fat storage. It causes insulin resistance, and that causes, fat storage. And often hyperpalatable encourages, obviously they taste good, right? I mean, that makes you feel like you want to eat more. Example: snack bars, frozen meals, chips, fast food. Refined food, I explained you that foods that have undergone processing, often involving removal of the natural components like fiber, bran and germ, leading to loss of nutrients, because that's where the real nutrients are, like refined flour, refined sugar. These are like, all, there is loss of fiber and loss of real nutrients. Loss of fiber, refining often removes the bran and the germ of the grains, which are rich sources of dietary fiber. And nutrient loss, and also loss of vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial components. And they add other ingredients like, added sugar, unhealthy fats, and other additives. For example, white bread, pasta, pastries, sugary breakfast cereal. Breakfast cereal are like horrible. They're all dipped in sugar. So, and pro-inflammatory diet, like certain foods that can contribute to inflammation in the body. These often include processed food, red and processed meat, refined carbohydrates, and sugar sweetened beverages. Like a lot of people are not used to drinking water. They don't want to drink water. They only want to drink some kind of drink like Coke, Pepsi, other sugars, like, there's a lot of sugar in it, plus and all that chemicals in that. Sugary foods like soda, candy, sweetened snack, refined grains, white bread, white rice, pastries, processed meat like bacon, hot dog, and deli meats. Like, how it's like almost impossible to tell people not to eat bacon. I don't eat bacon, I've never tasted, but I don't know why there is so much craze for bacon. But that's really bad. Not only it's bad for your gut, it's processed, and also it gives you excessive salt. Your blood pressure goes up. If you're a heart failure patient, you retain fluid. So all the processed food and fried food, French fries, fried chicken, chips, are all bad for your gut, increased inflammation. Trans fats, margarine, packaged baked goods, excess omega-6 oils like corn oil, soybean oil, vegetable blends, alcohol intake, especially in combination with poor diet. It's just like double whammy. So, what are anti-inflammatory substitutes? If you don't, if you want to protect yourself from all these, you can eat like leafy greens and berries, rich in antioxidant and polyphenols, and olive oil and avocados, healthy fats and reduce inflammation, and fatty food like salmon and sardines. Again, not processed. You can eat frozen, but not canned and all. Okay. Rich in omega-3 fatty acids, whole grains, quinoa and oats, high in fiber and low in C reactive protein. That's an inflammatory marker. So these you can substitute. How diet affects your gut microbes and weight. Trillions of microbes in your digestive tract help regulate digestion, immunity, even mental health. Your diet directly influences in which bacteria thrive and decline. Like, if you are not eating the right food, these bacteria, the good bacteria can be replaced with the bad bacteria, or the good one can go. You can have GI issues from that. So food that support gut health, that's fiber, that fruits, vegetables, and legumes, feeds beneficial bacteria, produces anti-inflammatory short chain fatty acids. Okay. And prebiotics, there is something called prebiotics. These organisms need food also. Like onions, garlic, bananas, fuel for the good bacteria, right? And probiotics, like it is said that at least 2 to 3 times a week you should eat something that's like fermented food. That's probiotic, like yogurt, kefir. Kefir is just the liquid form of yogurt. And sauerkraut and yeast and the live beneficial bacteria that they restore the balance. Like suppose you lost some, you had like diarrhea, or you took some antibiotics, you have to eat yogurt or these kind of stuff that will help restore your good bacteria. And whole plant-based food increases microbial diversity. And foods that disrupt the gut health, this is added sugar, promotes harmful bacteria and overgrowth. And processed and fried food low in fiber, additives harm the good bacteria. Saturated and trans fat again reduce microbial diversity and increases inflammation. And excess alcohol disrupts gut lining and microbial balance. So why does it matter? A healthy gut improves nutrient absorption, supports immunity, help regulate weight, and may even enhance your mood. You feel good. So when you feel good, you're not again going for the bad food that, for comfort, right? And genetically modified organisms, we talked about it. I mean, there is not a lot about this in the literature. I mean, but all I can say is there are some countries GMOs are banned, but they're still available in US. So you have to think why it is banned in some countries and why is it available. So try to avoid them. Any organism, plant, animal, or microorganism whose DNA has been altered using genetic engineering techniques, right? They use like to increase the quantity or increase the size. Like blueberries are not tiny anymore, they're big. Like that. Where are GMOs found? Common in crops like corn, soybean, canola, and sugar beets. Found in processed foods like oil, snacks, and sweeteners. May also appear in animal feed and thus meat and dairy products that we consume. Okay, why it matters for health and weight is engineering research raises concern about gut microbiome disruption from the repeated exposure of the GMO related chemicals. And some GMOs may increase inflammation, and increase inflammation means weight gain, interfere with digestion, and alter the nutrient absorption, all of which impact your weight management. So I mean, it's kind of hard to pick and choose like to avoid the GMO products. But what you can do is choosing organic or non-GMO verified product whenever it's possible. You can see that it's written on the food. Hormones in animal product. This is another important thing. Natural and added hormones increase the growth of the livestock and increases milk production. Okay, and why it's worth considering? Growth hormones used in beef and dairy may affect endocrine function. It's a hormone too, it affects us, our endocrine function. Estrogen and androgen like compounds may influence fat storage and metabolism. And more concern in sensitive groups like people who have hormonal imbalances and in for children. Steroid hormones can be counted as increased risk factor for various cancers in humans, as I told you. All the cancers that are affected by hormones. Safer options, look for labels like hormone free, organic, or pasture raised. These are the ones that you have to look. These options reduce exposure to synthetic hormones and support natural animal rearing practices. Okay. For dairy, look for brands that specify no recombinant bovine growth hormone. But it's hard, it's really hard. You have to really look for it. That's why I'm trying more going towards plant-based product. So I know, like, almond milk versus regular milk, or cashew milk, coconut milk, I know it is expensive to buy from the store, but you can do them at home. There are like a grinder, they are available, not milk maker. it's called. You can make it at home. I started doing that. So it's not expensive when you do it on your own, and it does not take time. 5 minutes. So, so and if I can do it with my work, you guys can do it definitely, right? So this is, I'm just giving you some examples so you can think, because a lot of the times we feel we're doing what we're doing is correct till we, somebody tells us or we read somewhere. So we're, we keep thinking, oh, we're eating right food. We're not eating fatty food. I'm increasing my protein. I'm reducing my calorie. But still, within what we eat, there is so many harmful products. So I'm just, that's why I'm bringing these things up so you know. When I tell my patients, especially with high blood pressure, no processed food, no canned food, I have like 10, 15 things and I just keep repeating them. They're like, what does that mean? That's what I eat. Just before I start saying that, they were like, oh, I eat healthy. But then when I go one by one, they're like, oh, this is all what I eat. So that is why, like, a lot of the times we don't know what we're doing wrong. So that is why it's important. Education is important. So you learn. So let's deep dive into some groceries. So superfoods like nutrient powerhouse. Nutrient dense foods that provide high levels of vitamins, minerals, antioxidant and other health promoting compounds. They support metabolism, reduce inflammation and improve overall well-being. As I said, there is part of it is because we feel good, our mood gets better. And when the mood gets better, you don't indulge into eating bad food. In addition to other things, reduce inflammation, improves your gut health, and increases your metabolism. All of that, in addition to that, it elevates your mood, it makes you feel good. So, like leafy greens, kale, spinach, low calorie, high in fiber and magnesium. Berries. Again, a lot of people who love eating sweets instead of like yogurt. Everyone eats yogurt, right, in the morning. Instead of taking sweetened yogurt, take plain yogurt and put the berries in it. Put some nuts in it. Or even after that, if you still want sweet, put some honey on it. But don't take those already sweetened yogurt. Again, yogurt is good. I keep saying yogurt is good, then I'm saying don't eat yogurt. But those sweetened is bad. I mean, it's processed, it puts all the bad sweets in it. So take the plain yogurt. Unless you make your own yogurt, it's not hard making your own yogurt, it's very easy. Once you have culture, you can just keep doing it every day or every week. It's not hard. But still, if you're buying it from outside, take plain yogurt and use the natural sweetening things like berries and as I said, nuts and all of that. It's not, and it tastes really good. Next, avocados, healthy fat and supports metabolism and satiety. It makes you feel like full, and it's a good fat. Chia seeds and flax seeds, rich in omega-3 and fiber. Chia seeds are like, you can do so many things. You can make pudding out of it. Use your milk and add chia food over, keep it in the fridge overnight. In the morning you can put some honey and some fruits on it. That's a pudding. These are like, to feel like good, like you want to eat sweets instead of eating other bad sweet stuff. And the same thing, flax seeds. Flax seeds, you should use it a lot. It has a lot of benefit. It helps your gut health, gives omega-3, and you can use that in your, in baking. A lot of people like baking. You can add that in the other flour. I don't use wheat flour if I'm baking something. I use almond flour, and I add flax seed powder in it. And also sometimes, to binding, I use psyllium husk, a little bit of it. So you can create like good bread. You don't have to eat bread from wheat flour. Okay, so you have to play with it and put all the seeds and nuts in it. So it makes you like complete food, not just like bad bread. Okay, and fermented food, I already mentioned kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir. Dosa, like we make dosa in India. We use a lot, beans and rice, and we soak it and we grind and we let it ferment and we make like a flatbread. and it's fermented. You should eat at least 2 to 3 times a week. You eat something fermented like these. Nuts and seeds provide healthy fat, protein, and key micronutrients. And cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, like they detox and also increase in fiber. And nutritionalist, again, these are people who are vegans, like good source of plant-based protein, vitamin B, and fiber. So why include these? These boost nutrient intake without excess calories and help manage cravings and improve digestion. If you add these things to your diet, you feel like, I don't feel full, right? You mentioned about it. You don't. If you eat them, you feel full. You won't. Your satiety will be controlled. You don't feel like, oh, I still need to eat, I'm not full. So if you add these to your diet, it helps. You don't feel like, oh, I still need to eat. You feel full. You don't have, and also you feel good. Your gut health is good. Okay. And help managing cravings and reduce the oxidative stress and inflammation, supporting long-term health and weight control. Nuts and the they are the healthy fats. Popular choices almonds. They're increase in vitamin E and calcium. Great for snacking and baking. So instead of you can use as a snack alternative. And again, don't use the almonds, like salted almonds and all. Get the raw almonds. You can air fry them or roast them, or add them in your snacks. Like you can create a bar, nut bar, or bar with seeds and nuts. You can use that for. And walnuts, rich in omega-3, brain and heart health support. Pistachios are high in protein and good for eye health. Cashews are creamy texture, and you can use, if people are vegan, they can use that, the paste, sauce. You can create a sauce for creaminess. And Brazil nuts, this is excellent source of selenium. Just 1 to 2 nuts a day, meet daily needs. And how you can substitute snack alternatives: swap like chips and candy for handful of mixed nuts. Okay, salad topper, use toasted nuts instead of croutons. Smoothie booster, you can add nut butter and crushed nuts for texture and protein. Okay, the people eat like those protein powder. You really don't have to buy protein powder. If you use all these nuts and seeds and little bit roast them, and all the seeds like chia seed, flax seed, sesame seed, and what other seeds? I have other ones, I'll tell you. I'm forgetting now. So all these seeds, you roast them a little bit with the nuts and make the powder, and that you can use as a protein powder and add in your milk or whatever you're drinking, instead of eating the protein powder you get, which is again synthetic. They use chemicals as processed. Bruce Lee, we all know Bruce Lee. He takes this kind of protein powder. He does not go to store to get protein powder. He makes his own. So if he can do it, why can't we? So, and dairy-free base, use cashews and almonds to make vegan cheese and creamy sauces. And baking, use like almonds and hazelnut in place of flour. Again, I mentioned that. So again, another one that's I'm big on millet, because millet can be used to replace wheat and rice, things like rice. Like instead of wheat and white rice, use millet for high fiber, lower GI alternative in breads and stir fries and curries and rice bowls. Instead of couscous, you can use millets like quinoa as breakfast cereal. Cook like oatmeal and top with fruits, nuts, and cinnamon. In baked goods, millet flour can be used in gluten-free baking, like quinoa flour. I have like actually I brought there are so many different kind of millets. I actually went and brought, and they are available in US. I didn't bring them from India. They're from Indian store because it's easier for me to get it from there. But it's in here in US, in Florida, in this area. So there are so many different kinds of millets are available. So what happened is people are focusing so much on wheat and other products to, they're growing them in very huge quantities, and that's why they're making so many changes, GMO and all that. But they have left these millets alone. So these are ancient grains, they're not altered. So they're better than regular grains, and they don't have gluten. So there is reduced inflammation. So luckily me, like, I grew up with using a lot of millets, but over time people even there stop using the millets, they start going with wheat. But now as they're realizing, we're going back to millet. There are so many different kind of millets available. And like finger millets. No, oatmeal is good, but again, you can use millets also for what, as a breakfast also. Oatmeal is better, it has low glycemic index than eating like rice, or even you can replace like oatmeal flour when you're baking. You can use that too for baking instead of using regular flour. So what is the healthiest millet? Like pearl millet, which is known for its high protein content and rich source of iron. It also helps in relaxing the body and fighting insomnia. I have them. You can go take a look at them, all those millets. And finger millet, it's called ragi. It is exceptionally high in calcium and contains methionine and lysine, beneficial for skin health. It also has high antioxidant activity and good source of minerals like copper, magnesium, and phosphorus. Foxtail millet, it is rich in dietary fiber and vitamin B. Also contains good amount of protein. They all are gluten free. This is how they look, and I have kept them there. I can show you at the end. All different kind of millets. You get their flour also. You can make their flour, or you get them already made. And some of these millets, like, you can just soak them and eat them like quinoa, or like cook them.
Is the sorghum, is that like a sweeter or?
No, it says it's not sweet. It's called jawar. It's another millet. We use that a lot in India. You can use it like, replacement. Like when we make a lot of different kind of breads, like, flat breads. Like, wheat is easy because it has gluten. Its making is easy, but all these other ones are hard. So people kind of run away from it. But if you use, like, there are some techniques. If you use it, you can make bread from it too. Like, you can bake also. You can replace this. But obviously, like, they don't have gluten, there is no binding. So you can use some other things for binding, like flax seeds, or even like psyllium husk, that you can add a little bit, so create a binding. But you can use these millet flour instead of wheat flour.
Is the sorghum millet from the sorghum plant stalk? I'm
Mm,
just curious about the sorghum.
I'll show you. I have it here.
Okay, no,
It's not. It's called. I don't know what this.
when sorghum syrup is
This.
created, it's crushed and cooked.
I'm.
And the sorghum to make the sweet syrup.
Oh, really? I don't know. This is how it looks.